Greater light, greater light, greater light. I'm going to miss this part right here. Going live and streaming, I know I'm going to miss it. I know I'm going to miss it. Yep, I'm going to miss this. First off, let me get it started with, and in the proper way. My mind is God's mind because the Bible says so. And it says it's about you too. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence when you follow the strategic path that God has laid out for you, because we know that nothing is a coincidence. Even though it may seem like a kawiki dicky, we know that our steps are strategically ordered before the foundations of any man-made thing. My mind is God's mind. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and divine intelligence because you are a reflection of the Most High. You are supposed to reflect what he streams through they call it tether. Or take off the cross and leave it as ether. They call it tethering. But we know that's the vine that comes from the Most High, divine wisdom and divine intelligence. My brain symbolizes like a sound mind, sounding symbols, symbolizes the capacity. In your cap, they call it a dome, that this is capped off above anything that you can see. Divine wisdom and divine capacity. My brain symbolizes divine wisdom and divine capacity. God's ideas, everything about him is ideal. They take the idea off and make it man-made. And with etymology and words, ID means it, but God is not an it, he's all. They just decided to take the ID and make it that and put you in a form of a man-made ID to disattach you from God's ideas that unfold in perfect sequence. And when you put all your trust, faith, and hope, no matter how hard it gets, I'm telling you, it'll get hard. It'll hurt. But that hope built on, he has the perfect strategy. He has the perfect solution. That's soluble. That solution runs through your veins. It's in your DNA. That's why there's power in the blood. He has the perfect, he already gave you the perfect solution through your DNA. He provides the perfect solution to all of your needs. He already provided the perfect solution in your butt. Would you be free from your burden of sin? There is power in the blood. Would you be free today from your burden of sin, knowing that the power of God lies within your DNA and your blood? You have a choice. You have the right to choose. And all of their man-made assemblies and everything else that's going on around in these simulations, to deter you from knowing and recognizing that we are living in prophecy. And the prophecy is about you. If we are in Revelations, you are a part of prophecy, the prophecies that was written way back in Daniel's days and before Daniel's days, So there's a story about you in here. And if you don't remember and recognize who you are, you'll fall right into what Gog and Magog has in store. Point blank, period. Now, I got some news. I got things lined up. Today. I do. I have things lined up today. I sure do. I'm not going to talk about the water. I ain't going to talk about none of that stuff. I ain't going to talk about my call to the companies and stuff. All the protocols that I followed, applications, phone calls. I'm not going to text. I'm not going to focus on that. I got stuff lined up. But first, as part of my testimony, I'm going to talk about a dream, the dream that I had past shadow hours. And I'm going to be careful about this dream. I want to be careful because I definitely, most individuals know I'm not a cloud chaser. They know I could care less about their status within the community or anywhere else in the world. But then there be beings that I have a high respect for, right? And they may not know it, or they know it. Either way, I have a high respect for this person that was in my dreams last night, past shadow hours. So I'm definitely not going to say the name because what I'm knowing, I know that this being knows that they were walking around with me. They were more like they were like, in how they show the scenes in Hollywood where there's a movie going on and they have the director just sitting there watching and making that's how this person was sitting in my dream. right? And they were with me the whole time. Every dream that I went, I'm talking about, and it was so like one of the jobs that I applied for, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get that job. Just because of the way it was in my dream. So like I said, I'm not gonna say the name like how I do to other people that like I really don't have no respect for. Like when I dreamt about what you call it, forbidden knowledge. I knew that was a whole scheme scam while he was popping up in my dream and on the realm, and then tried to come again in different forms, or whoever worked with him tried to come in different forms. This person came exactly as who they are, and I know it. So the dream went in from daylight to dark, like it was a whole day of events. My grandchildren were in the dream, different beings, faces of people that I may have seen or never seen. Huh? And sometimes he would try to give me advice and say little things to me or ask me particular questions within the dream. So now here's how I'm going to let him know that I know you were in my dream. And why you just, I mean, what's all that for? Uh, I appreciate it, but what does it mean? What does it mean? Here's the ending of the dream, y'all. So now we're in this big Coliseum type uh environment. I'm talking about pillars all over the place, but then it was like jungle vines and stuff all around. It was beautiful. It was like a place like if you know, like stuff like that intrigue me, but don't. You know, I look around like, oh yeah, this is nice. But the path that we had to walk to get to the entrance was on like the ledge. It was on a ledge. So now remember, he had been with me, following me all through my dream. And so he was behind me, and I was trying to be careful as I walked this ledge to get to the entrance. And here I am next to a pillar on my left. And again, like I look back, when I look back at him on a pillar to the right across the hall, there was a big python snake coming down. And it switched and transitioned in color. It went from like a pale yellow, and then it went to a green. Here, I'm wearing the green today. So when it when it went to the green, now I wasn't afraid because it was all the way on the other side of the pillar. But even though, you know, I don't know much about snakes that big, and if it could have flew over or made it to the entrance before I got to the entrance, I decided, and because this person and this being is always so calm, cool, and collected when he speaks, when he teaches, when he teaches from the tablets of his mind, all of the emerald tablets, all of the locked in knowledge that he has in his music that is always prophetic. He's always, it seems, so calm, cool, and collected, right? When I said, look, we have to move a little faster. Look at that big old snake. Man, He tried to knock me down getting up out of there. I'm sorry, he went past me, got from behind me, huh? And it's my weight and the way I am and the way the ledge was. Good thing he was tiny. Good thing he's a small frame man. Huh? He was on his way and out there left forgot all about me. Huh? And I woke up. That is one time that I can tell you. From the time I went to sleep, I slept and I woke up around about 4:30. There was no interruption in this dream. I'm telling you, say one thing about us. Don't care what we talk about, we ain't afraid of. When we see them snakes. So that's a little testimony service, a little dream. Talk about the dream last night. Where you at, Scary? I'm talking about it was a big old, I'm talking about, okay, the pillars, I can't even tell you the size of the pillars, but it was a big old, huh? He was like, gotta go. Huh? All right. Now, here's something else in the news that I wanted to cover. So that was the dream testimony. Now I want to talk about the news. So there's two young ladies, high school students, supposedly, that solved some big whatever in math. And I think one of the girls, she said the reason why she wanted to really focus on it, they were supposedly geniuses already in Louisiana, at some St. Mary Catholic school or something like that. And they figured out this or resolved this mathematical equation that has been theorized, and they broke the theory. And again, one of the young ladies said, well, she wanted it because to enter because it was $500, and that's a lot of money to her. And when I saw it, you know, the pride, and it's not so much of the pride that not where I don't know that it could have been done. But then it was a type of, I'm trying to express how I feel without sounding negative. To me, it's sad. It's sad that they accomplished doing something where I know 200, 300 years from now, for those who are going to be left behind for the 1,000 years that the demons have planned out and has been ordered through the Most High, that some children 100, 200 years from now are going to come and take their theory and debunk it, because math is made up. Math and numbers is a man-made thing. There's one being that he always says, "Number man lie, but numbers don't lie." Numbers lie every day. God didn't create the universe on numbers. That's a man-made thing. And then another part that I feel sad about with these the accomplishment of these two young women is the stigma that they're putting on them, where they're going to place them in society, into the part of society that will bind man and their generation into cages. They already put the stigma on them. For those who believe in unicorns, like Red Squid X, they've named them unicorns. They've named them unicorns. Then another sad thing about the accomplishment of these two high school students in Louisiana, that all of the foundations of math was based on, including the structure of Earth and everything, is based on the math that they just debunked in all of their research and development. These two high school students, these young ladies. So $500 is some rinky-dinky recognition, to me, belittles them in their what they've done in history. That means they supposed to make this such a big deal that anything that was founded on a math that they just debunked is supposed to be looked at now. All of the different sciences and foundations of things that was built on the math that these two young ladies had successfully done what even the computers weren't able to do, whether they got help and assistance through artificial intelligence. Because let me tell you something about this artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence only puts in information that's uploaded, and the only way it will give you something more is if you ask the right questions. That's when artificial intelligence starts to think with you. And I'm going to show you that in the information that I'm going to bring today about power in the blood. So that is something in the news that I was intrigued about, and then again had so many mixed emotions. Double joint, greater light. So many mixed emotions about reading that. So you can look it up somewhere in the news. Again, the young women two high school students out of Louisiana. And I think it's St. Mary's Catholic School or something like that. And they are math geniuses, mathematicians. Okay, another thing in the news, this is something that is going to potentially happen, because I saw information within the Federal Register, and I told you, anytime it's placed in Federal Register, believe me, it's something that's going to happen. So if a bridge is going to blow up, if an accident is going to happen under a bridge, if a city is going to get flooded, they have created all of the scenarios in the infrastructure to make those things happen. So there's a drawbridge in New York that something is going to happen soon. I wasn't looking for the information, so that's how I know to go ahead and mention it now. just like that bridge in what you call it. It was in the, and then what happened when I went back to look for that information that was about the Francis Scott Key Bridge before it happened, it was not there anymore. So whatever funds that they need to, because this drawbridge needs to be reconstructed. So there's going to be something to make that drawbridge go into whatever they need to have it reconstructed. I can't say exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to be soon because the effective date is coming up. Like I said, whatever city you live in, whatever town you live in, if you have any concerns about weather and things coming up, all you do is type in your city, your town, your area, and it will let you know what they're working on. Like me, I know that they're working on the water. It didn't just happen with this event where they turned off my water and all, and it's just my unit and all that. They just got billions, no, millions of dollars for the town that I'm in, and being labeled the cleanest water in the southern parts of the South. So whatever they're doing with the water is expected. And at the end, the baby or the bathwater still has a significant meaning in there. That article that I showed you yesterday and the day before yesterday. Now, let me explain something that's in Revelation in regards to the bath water. So they have another thing in the news about a new star, which we know it's not a new star. But you know how they like to do with their simulations and stuff. So there's a new star. Now, according to Revelations, around this point in time, there's a new star that comes into effect that will affect the water. And they really are concentrating on bioterrorism and the water right now. Now, in my tabs, I have Lloyd Austin up, which y'all know, again, the area that I'm in, this is Lloyd Austin's hometown. Buffalo Soldier, the original of the Buffalo Soldier, his hometown, heart of the antebellum. And it's an hour and some change of, nope, it's 3 hours of a Department of Defense head honcho in charge, Lloyd Austin, $6 billion man. Every time I hear Austin, I just automatically think $6 billion man. So I have that here in the tabs for news, but I don't know if I'm going to go over that right now. I want to go ahead and get over to the power of the blood. That's the news for today. And I'm definitely not going to focus on the new star that's out there, whatever name they have for it. And how in Revelations, wormwood, because by the time the sign of the new star comes, the new star has something to connected to the waters and the bitter waters and all that good stuff that's written. Okay, I'm going to go to some scriptures about blood. I'm going to go to some scriptures. You see my title, Double Joint. You see my title, right? What you think I'm going to be about to talk about? Huh? The misinformation of the Reeses. I've always known that that's misinformation. Now, here's another thing that happened in the news that made me decide to do this bill. So, of course, you know, people that talk a lot like Young Elder and them, I hear him and he'll be like, because of the negative red RH Reeses, they got monkey in their blood, right? And I'm something like my grandma. My grandma saying, we ain't come over on no boat. She know from deep depths in her heart. She know that she's original no matter what my mama say. And then, like in my dream, when I pointed at my grandmother the other night, I told her I existed in light form before your great great grandmother. I said that to my grandmother in the dream, and I know it. But now here's some proof. Here's some proof. I'm talking about bloods and the originals. And there's those who come from the land and those who don't. The Reeses pieces misinformation. Once I finish with the Reeses, I could have put Reeses spelt the way Reese's monkey is spelt. And I could have put pieces like breaking off piece instead of the peace sign. But I decided to put Reese's pieces. This was not misspelling information. I decided I was thinking about candy. But here in the news, some college students or whatever going on, it's a lot going on with the colleges and the universities now. And one young man in one group or fraternity made some monkey noises at a girl and they removed him from the fraternity. Now, in my mind, I'm like, well, I wonder, does he even know his blood type? I mean, he's in college. Shouldn't he know that it's according to your blood type that determines where you're from? And it has nothing to do with the antigens in your blood. And your antigens, that RH factor has nothing to do with monkeys in your blood. The RH factor is only named after the person who experimented, or named after the science or the experiments on the monkeys about antigens. That's it. The minus and the plus in your blood does not mean you are positive for monkeys or negative for monkeys. It means you are positive for the antigens within your blood or negative for the antigens in your blood. And the antigens has to do with your immune system. Now, the reason why they used monkeys, because it was illegal to do the research on other beings and other animals or other protected animals in wildlife. But they could have done the antigen research, negative and positive, on ants. Yes, ants have an RH factor. They could have done it on praying mantises. They could have done it on dogs. They could have done it on lions. Lions have an RH factor. An ant has RH factor. They have antigens. And the difference between the antigens is as far as the gens or the bodies. What? Yes, the gens or the bodies. the light kind of hue or the mankind? No, yes, yes, yes. So now, because of the information that I'm telling you, you study to show yourself improved and know that antigens has nothing to do with monkey in your blood. Some of you possess the same antigens that is within the lion. Now, those who claim that they come from monkeys, that would show in the letters in your genetics. That has nothing to do with the plus or the minus in your genetics. So you have the O's, you have the A, the B, and then the other that they don't tell y'all about, the D's and the E's too. Would you be free from your burden of sin? There is power in the blood. Let me go ahead with artificial intelligence. And break it down with you a better way for you to understand. But first, let me go to some scripture because I haven't done that in a few days. Let me go to some scripture that talks about blood. So First John, you can turn with me. You could go there. First John. And of course, it's going to take me all day now. Right there. 1:7. Oh, I might as well just read all of First John. That's what I'll do. I'll read. First, let me read the 1:7. But if we are living in the light of God's presence, just as Christ does, then we have wonderful fellowship with joy with each other. And the blood of Jesus, his son, cleanses us from every sin. Why? Why is the blood cleansing? Just what I said earlier. The power is in the blood, your blood. And your blood, the light code of love is what cleanses the misinformation that is formed throughout time through their RNA messengers. The things that would make you remember. If we say that we have no sin, we are only fooling ourselves and refusing to accept the truth. Sin, our blood is dirty from the sins of math, language, all the things that deters your memory from knowing that you are a direct reflection of the love and light. The way that you could be cleansed is claiming the knowledge within your blood type and knowing the truth about the power in your blood. It says, let me go back. This is a message, the message God has given us to pass on to you. That God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. So if we say we are friends, but go on living in spiritual darkness and sin, we are lying. But if we are living in the light of God's presence, just as Christ did and does, then we have a wonderful fellowship and joy with each other. This goes hand in hand, the blood and the light, the blood and the light code. So that's 1 John 1:7. I was going to read all that, but I want to get to the science and the misinformation. Ephesians 1:7 says, in him we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses according to the riches of his grace. Once you accept the truth about your blood, once you know the truth of who you are, you can no longer be lied to. It opens you up to all the different lies that have been placed through generational curses. But with the precious blood of Christ, like that of a lamb without a blemish or spot, there's antigens in the lamb. There's antigens in a horse. So why would they choose the monkey and then have you all misinformed, thinking, well, if I have positive antigen, I come from monkeys. Definitely, if I'm an O, which is an original, and a lot of people like to say, well, that's a universal thing. Yeah, of course. 12 gates to the city. 144,000, but then a number you can't count as far as the sands of the seas. Every time people think about heaven, in the beginning, in the creation, and all the angels, which is say all the stars of all the multi-universes, they imagine the math and the numbers of just a third. And then give that a number. Like, you know how many angels God created. And they always tell one side of the story, right? The angels that got kicked out. How about there was another side to the story where there was angels that said, hey, well, God, we obeyed you, but can we go down there and play too? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, of course, if the O is universal, and because there was a set of beings that were created, it doesn't say how many, before man that was created out of the dirt was created. Then, I mean, I don't get the confusion. To know the difference between man that was created from the ground is where you get the A, B selection. The O's are the first set of beings that were here, because now, if you really want to be real about it and follow the different translations that has been passed down, you would question, well, okay, Seth came from Adam and Eve, and we know that Cain couldn't sleep with, what you call it, any type of man, not the original man. He couldn't sleep, but he would have been killed. Soon as they seen him come in town, you gonna get killed, but the monkeys wouldn't have killed him. But then Seth, who Seth went and had sex with? Huh? A different type of man that was already here, originals. So I'm just saying. And once again, the negative and positive has nothing to do with, yeah, it was just a man who said, just like the new monkey research centers that they building all over again, once again, less than 30 miles from me, double joint, less than 30 miles from me, I did a series on the new monkey center that they want to build up to do more research. Now, all the research that they pull out of those monkeys 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 years from now, the scientists that get the name and gain the name for whatever research they find out of the monkeys that they supposedly going to be doing here, which I don't think that facility is being made for monkeys. I think it's for the human primates, but that's just a cover. But anyways, just say it is. It's got a whole set of primates in there. Whatever names that they come up with, or they're going to tell my granddaughter's grandchildren that their blood work was in her blood work. What they found and the science that they found on the monkeys and researches that they're about to do these days. If the information gets lost and my granddaughter don't get a chance to tell her great-great-grandchildren the truth, my great-great-grandchildren gonna think that somehow the information from those monkeys and that research and development was inside my granddaughter. That's the same thing right here, right now. For those who think the minus or the plus has to do with a monkey in your blood. Yeah, Ham may have. All that information was here before I got here. And whatever Ham did with Noah is all good. If you could find the misinformation in that, then that would be good for those in these days who is misinformed about whatever that has to do. Right now, I'm breaking down misinformation for my granddaughter for when somebody licked their tongue out, like what happened in the news the other day, that she already knows and is well aware there ain't no monkey in your blood. And instead of getting mad, you can educate somebody and let them know how you know for sure the Reeses factor don't have nothing to do with whether you have monkey in your blood or not. I'm not talking about other beings, because there are those who Cain, they have the bones and the proof. Now, based on my blood type, which is an O and a positive, but I know ain't no monkey in my blood. I'm sorry. Huh? And I know that based on all the research and development, the sickle, what antigens I have come out from the coral And the coral, the lions and the tigers, their antigens come out of the coral. Oh, yes, I done researched and developed to the point of study to show thyself approved unto God, that I am not ashamed when I rightly divide the word of truth. Revelations 12:11 says, and they have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb. You conquer them by knowing the truth about who you are and knowing exactly who you are, and not based on these stories that was written before you got here, but literally doing the research and development on your own information. Can you pull your blood work and look at your blood work from the hospital and tell them who you are? Because by the time they finish putting you in the system on who you say and accept, when you check off these marks in the census, and when they come at you with the covenant under the non-compete covenant and all the other things that they have lined up, when you claim you're a citizen of here and a citizen of there, and you from here and you from there, I'm a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. I'm a light being. And confirmation after confirmation, every research and development that I do is confirming it more and more. How? Without a doubt. So, I mean, it's the antigen in you. They did the research and development on the antigens in the ant. Do you have an antigen of an ant in your blood? Huh? Acts 20:28 says, pay careful attention to yourselves and to all the flock in which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers to care for the church of God, which he obtained with his own blood. Now we going into discipleship, and those who say, well, we know we're not talking about blood, sprinkling the blood and drinking the blood and all that other stuff that they missing-scooped and put in their different translations and break it on down. Jesus never even came and said nothing about all that. He said, I'm love and light. And if you can remember where your body come from, you'll know this is your body, and your body didn't come from the land. God made two different kinds of men. He made a human and then a kind of man. And it said, we overseers. You are the overseer of your own flesh. And then the power and the light code, he said, I'm a blueprint. And if you love yourself enough, I'm talking about if you know and remember that you are a reflection of the Most High, you're going to break the code. You're going to know the truth. So now let me get to the science. Let me get to show you again how, like I said, artificial intelligence gives you information based on what's been uploaded. But when you really want artificial intelligence to think and you put in a question that you think is a fact, even though we have been taught different, artificial intelligence will let you know, yep, that's a fact. That is a fact. Let's fact check it. So here, first I started off with Oh, this is from yesterday because I think I told you, if you go to my live yesterday, after they finished everything with the water, all of a sudden my water was smelling like fingernail polish remover. I'm talking about I let the water run for an hour. It was fingernail polish remover smell. So I questioned it. This was yesterday. I asked her, and then she broke down that what it means for that to be coming through the pipe, the poisoning that could happen. So again, I'm prepared for anything and whatever. She let me know. She said then there's also a bacterial production of acetone. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not worried about a thing. I ain't worried about a thing. But here's today's information. So I asked her, I said, okay, break it down to me. And anybody who's been with me for a minute knows that I've done the blood research, the blood bills, because again, the things that they've said about my blood over the years, me going in and out of cancer research centers, uh, years of research. Every time they research on my blood and say something, I ask for the paperwork. I ask for the receipts, and I research for myself. So I've done the bills, but this is different, doing it with artificial intelligence. So I said, so what do the letters mean in the blood types? A stands for, and then etc. She says, certainly blood types are classified based on the presence and absence of specific antigens on the surface of the red blood cells, ABO system. And then she says the ABO system categorizes blood into four main types. Type A, red blood cells have the A antigen. Type B antigen. AB, red blood cells have both A and B antigens. And O, red blood cells have neither A or B antigens. So I'm an O and I don't have A or B antigens. And that's why when you hear me saying my mother's blood can't say, nobody in my family could save my life if it came down to it. I can save their lives with my blood if needed, but they can't save me. Nobody in my family has my blood type. Okay? So when we get on down to that mitochondria and all that, yeah, that's all good for all they research. But I've done a whole different research and development that would knock that out of the box. So the RH system, she says, the RH system determines whether your blood is positive or negative based on the presence and absence of the RHD antigen, which is another antigen, also known as RH factor. And the reason, again, why it was called RH factor is not because they knew thought we had monkey in our blood. It's because of the monkeys that they used to do the research extensively. So the RHD positive red blood cells have RHD antigen, and RHD negative red blood cells lack the RHD antigen. The 8 common blood types resulted in a combination of ABO, RH systems and stuff. Now, let me show you the difference between, so you have those who are positive and negative. And the RHD antigen is based on how high your immune system is. So you have those who those who have a negative are more susceptible to getting AIDS. That's what it means. More susceptible to sinuses and things like that. More susceptible to histamine reactions. That's what it means. You have some proud and they be like, oh, yeah, something negative, huh? And they be sick as a dog all the time. But if you negative, what does that mean? What, because you O negative or you AB, it means the strength of your immune system is not as strong as someone with positive Rh antigens. Now, what's in an Rh antigen is different. Positive, will deal with more things based on the bones and the cartilages and things like that. A person with a negative antigen, they are more prone to heart disease. But then a person with a positive antigen, they have high blood pressure, and it doesn't mean that it's always about the foods. It's sometimes based on the environment, and they're made to have high blood pressure because of the land that they're supposed to be on, or the different foods that they're supposed to eat, or the makeup of their blood. They are high in sodium beings. Don't believe what I'm telling you, go check it out. But let me continue. So then she breaks down the 8 common blood types. Now, remember, if you go back in one of them 1,500 videos that I got back there, I break it down how there's 12 different blood types. Just like everything else. Everything was based on 12 from the originals. 12 constellations that are in focus. 12 tribes, 12 gates, the 12 holes or entrances on your body. 12 hours, 12 months. Yeah, everything about who you are is in your blood. Everything about your ancestral line and you, it's in your, it's not based on skin type. That's what I was trying with. I was all up in Red Squid X's, last night, and making a point about when they bring up vampirism and things like that. And there's people that are made, they can do a high iron intake. And those are usually beings that are from the land. And they can eat iron, drink iron. Iron has no effect on them. And then you have somebody like me, like iron has like I'm allergic to iron. Literally allergic to iron, that they had created a particular type of iron or manipulated some type of iron that I could take iron infusions. But I got tired of even that, because the last iron infusion that they gave me, and it was some new iron that looked like blood, and I did a live on it. I hate that I lost, like, that YouTube was compromised and I lost everything in that YouTube. But I did a whole, like, showing people as I was going into the cancer center, and then the eye that was in the cancer center and all that. And I would take the camera with me. And when that new iron, I asked her, I was like, well, what is this? And that whatever that new iron was had me sick for 2 weeks, and I never went back for an iron infusion. And that's the same time they was preparing me for another blood transfusion. And I've told a story about that, but I'm not going to go into that. I don't even really want to mention nobody else's name for them to think I'm clout chasing and all that. So, yeah, does the color of the skin and the area where people are in And if you're going to say something negative about one set of pale beings that drink blood, what about the beings of color that drink blood? Because there's a connection to the blood type, the A and B's and all. Like my mother, no negativity, here allowed, but I'm literally telling the truth about something. At one time was like she could eat a rare meat, and she loved organs and things like that. And I think that's based on her blood type. And it's certain foods that she would feed us that she liked. That, like me, I'm allergic to green plantains and certain fish and stuff like that. Certain smells, oregano never was connected to me until later. Things like olives, it's just certain things that, based on that letter in your blood too, is connected to your history. So yeah, more than likely my mother on her father's side or wherever in her genetics, because she doesn't like to claim her mitochondrial genetics in so many ways. But that Smith line that traveled and all, whatever, it's not even about the name, it's about the blood. And I can see my mother being over in a tribe in Ethiopia, sitting there, right, drinking blood and stuff, because that stuff didn't, like. But me, I'm allergic to iron. Meat became a habit, but I'm doing so much better in my body, in my health, in my healing without meat at all. Everybody's body and blood and type, based on your blood and your code, is not meant for meat. So yeah, region, maybe. Okay, so here's some more information. So I said, okay, since she didn't give me a clear, I want to know exactly what the A means, right? And she breaks it down for me in another way. So she says the letter A in blood types has an interesting historical and scientific background. Let's explore it. Discovery by Carl Landsteiner. He's a Frankenstein, huh? Carl Land. Look, region-based double joint. Another quickie dicky. No such things as coincidences, but it's always a thing as a quickie dicky. Dictionary involved in words. Carl Landsteiner. The ABO blood types were first discovered by Austrian physician named Carl Landsteiner. Landsteiner was working on Pathological Anatomical Institute of the University of Vienna, now the Medical University of Vienna. You want a Vienna sausage or what? Through a series of experiments, he classified blood into 4 well-known types: A, B, AB, and O. A, B, AB, O. So you was an abo or what? Just because some man told you, some man named Carl Landsteiner put a label on you. You say, I'm my abo. I got blood type A, B, and O. No, it don't go together like that. It don't work like that. The type refers to the presence of particular type of antigens sticking up from the surface of the red blood cells. Now, I used to have a microscope, double joint. I used to have a telescope. All got lost in the process over the years. My telescope got left in North Carolina. But my microscope, I did, when they said my blood was shaped a certain way, I looked up under the microscope for myself to confirm that. The different shapes of blood within my body. So it's not like they told me that. They gave me the paperwork. I looked it up. I did my research, and this is before artificial intelligence. No, I looked up under a microscope for myself to see what they were saying about the 3 different shapes of blood in my system. So evolution of blood types, that's what I need to invest in. I got how many months? I don't know. Is it worth it for me to get another telescope? Who knows? We'll see. Evidence suggests that type A evolved from type O, meaning type O was the original. Type A evolved from originals around 15 million years ago. But who are they with their numbers and math? Huh? Who are they with their math and numbers? King Ellis! Greater light. Greater light. I was in my, when you came through yesterday, and I always give you that King Ellis, but they had so much going on with my water and stuff and the little mind games. You was there. You seen what I was talking about yesterday. I'm better today. Subsequently, B and A, if you forward now, you may know who I'm talking about, or you may not, but I had a dream last night. I had a dream, and I'm telling you, it was real as could be. And this person came as themselves. This wasn't somebody pretending to be my grandma in the dream or pretending to be Dr. Malachi Z. York in the dream. This person came as themselves and sat there and watched me throughout my dream and was giving me pointers, like asking me questions and, questions in statement form. And, anyways. So subsequently, types B and AB followed suit within the last 10 million years. Now, there's sugar antigens. The A antigen is a sugar-based antigen found in the surface of red blood cells. Does that sound like anything that got to do with monkeys? Because the RH antigen has to do with the immune structures found on your cell. So a person with A blood type, the sugar antigens of a person has been determined through the A blood type. If a person lacks both A and B antigens, they are considered O. The RH. Additionally, there is the RH, also known as the RHD antigen. If a person has the RH factor, their blood type has, or is called RH positive. If not, it's RH negative. And then it's combined and blah, blah, blah. Now, that's off of Carl Landstein's research, right? So then I asked her, I said, okay, well, that's not what I'm asking. I want to know what's the definition of the letter A in the blood types and the definition of the letter B. Why did he name it that? And what's the blood types of O? I said, what is the definition of the letter A in the blood types and letter B in the blood types? But I already know that O is original. And she says, correct. Let's delve into the definitions of the systems based on ABO systems. So then she goes and she breaks down everything again, except she breaks down the difference between the plasma and the surface of the A, the antigen, and then the body, which is the B. So now I'm thinking the A's that came from the O's still have light code in them. So that's why he named it Gen. So the A antigens and then the B antigens is the antibodies. Those who antibodies pronounce something else. They are the ones that was formed from the earth. And then you have a combination of those that are both. Now, those who are just bees, they lack light. So now, when they say that there's just a small percentage of beings, right? Wonder what, say, the Rothschilds' blood type is. There's a small percentage, maybe just what, less than a third, that are just B. With, I think it's B only, the rarest. Which one is the rarest? Let me continue. I didn't ask her that. Maybe I ask her that later on my own. Ooh, don't believe me? Go check it out. Type B, red blood cells in type B blood have the B antigen on their surface. Individuals with the B blood have antibodies in their plasma. That's what makes the difference. That's what made him label them Bs, because of the body. To put it simply, type B blood has antigens and anti-A antibodies. So O, the red blood cells of type O blood have neither A, they don't have gen, and they don't have bodies. Individuals with the O blood have both anti-A and anti-B antibodies in their plasma, though. And only given that so that we can save the lives if needed, because an A blood type can't save my blood type. A B blood type can't save my blood type. A O negative can't even, which I just found out, can't even save my blood type. Because of the strength of my immune system, which that's what the RH is about, the strength of the immune, the immunology, only a O positive can save me, and O positive can save everybody, and O negative can't save everybody. Because the immunology is in the antigen in that RH, which that RH should be renamed. Because again, the RH has nothing to do with a monkey. I'll say it one more time. You can find the RH, if that's the term you want to use, in an ant, that antigen in an ant, and you can find that antigen in a lion. So the type O blood is often referred to as universal donor because it can be safely transfused into individuals with other blood types. However, people with O blood can only receive type O blood in return. In summary, type O blood lacks A antigens, B antigens, and RH antigens are different. So then I ask, I just explained that. Okay, here's where she explains and breaks down the RH, right? And I'm gonna read it to you, but then I asked her the question in a different way to confirm my thoughts over the years and my own research. And when I hear people saying that, and how I've always been had to rebuttal mine against people who agree with that without studying to show themselves approved. The RHD antigen is a protein found on the surface of red blood cells, just like the A and the B, and is a key component to the RH blood group system. Here's the detail explained. The RH blood group system. The RH blood group system includes several antigens, but the most significant and common one is the RHD antigen. The antigen is what determines whether a person's blood type is Rh positive or Rh negative. RHD positive and negative. If the RHD antigen is present in your blood cells, you are considered Rh positive. If the RHD antigen is absent, you are considered RHD negative. The immunogenicity, the RHD antigen is highly immunogenic, which means it can provoke a strong immune system response introduced into the body that does not have it. This is particularly important in blood transfusions and pregnancy. The inheritance, your Rh status is inherited from your parents, separate from your ABO blood type. And we're not talking parents from my mother, my grandmother. You're talking about your original parent source. Either the image and light of God directly, or the mankind from the ground. It is possible for Rh negative mother to carry an Rh positive baby, which can lead to complications known as Rh incompatibility. Rh incompatibility can occur during pregnancy if the mother is Rh negative and the baby is Rh positive. The mother's immune system may introduce antibodies against the RHD antigen on the baby's red blood cells, potentially leading to hemolytic disease of the newborn. Testing and prevention, and they talk about that. And I said, so I'm not asking you this. I want to know the definition of the RNH, because I know that it's considered Reeses, but I know that has to do with the person that did the development on the research on the monkeys. And how come they named it that instead of naming it something else? Because we know that the RHD is found in animals and creatures all over the world, earth. Again, RH is found in the lion, but they didn't do the research on the lion and put it public. They didn't say, well, we're going to say the RH, the antigen within you that's in an ant. They'd rather and prefer to have people believe that they come from monkeys. And so she doesn't give me a good definition. And this is what she says. The acronym RHD stands for multiple things, depending on the context. I mean, she takes me through this whole beating around the bush. In the context of blood types, RHD refers to the RH blood group system, specifically the RHD antigen found on the surface of red blood cells. This antigen determines whether a person's blood type is Rh positive or Rh negative. However, RHD can also stand for other terms in different contexts, such as right-hand drive. What? For vehicles. If you're looking for a specific definition, blah, blah, blah. So then I ask her again, and she gives me the same answer. But I ask it in a different way. So she gives me the same answer. And so then I said, okay, what does the R mean? And what does the H mean? And what are the definitions of the letter R and H? And then she breaks down the Reeses factor. So when she breaks down the Reeses factor, of course, I know, like I said, without a doubt, that the RH does not mean we came from monkeys, even though that's what they teach in science. So here is the question where she gives me the proper response. I said, isn't it a fact that the positive factor in blood has nothing to do with monkeys at all, but just a term created after the scientists explained the finding in layman's terms? And she said with an exclamation point, you're absolutely right. The term RH, Reeses factors, does indeed have an interesting history and has nothing to do with monkey blood. And she breaks it down and she goes all the way into the RH findings, D, C, and E. So there's antigens more than just the minus and the negative. There's antigens in their discoveries and their researches. That's D, C, C. She has D, capital C, lowercase c, capital E, and lowercase e. Now, I didn't go any further on this research. I just wanted to, like I said, just kind of bring a close out loud, because it doesn't mean it's going to reach all the world in this generation. But that is so important to know and research your blood and know that the power is in your blood, in your light code, in your when you access that code in your blood, that will disseminate all of the different languages and codes that they have uploaded through their RNA messengers and their mRNA messengers. You'll be all right. All right, let me see what else I asked her. So yes, you can look it up for yourself also. I asked her the so-called RH, because again, that's just a name that was given. That's not the form of the matter. Is it only exclusive to humans? And that's where you'll find out all the different creatures that have the so-called RH. So you mean an ant has monkey blood? The ant is RH positive. The ant has monkey blood, huh? That's the point. There's the point. The lion has RH antigen. So the lion has monkey blood. There are fish that have the RH antigen. So the fish have monkey blood. There is algae that has RH antigen, positive and negative. So the algae has monkey blood. Reese's Pieces, huh? Greater light. Reese's Pieces to your misinformation. Now, if anyone can come and answer those questions, just those 3 questions. No, let me see how many other animals can I put on the list. Huh? Does a shark have monkey blood? Huh? Study to show thyself approved unto God. Start breaking apart all that misinformation to know exactly who you are. Remember who you are in Christ. And when I look in the mirror, I don't see no monkey. And that's only because of that news reel where the guy in the fraternity just lost his position in the fraternity because he made monkey noises at that girl in their little picketing that they're doing on misinformation all over the world. Misinformation about wars and rumors of wars that have nothing to do with these last days. I mean, it do, but it don't. The most important thing is knowing what side you're going to choose. If you're going to choose Gog and Magog, or you're going to let them just put you on the side because you agreed that you got RH monkey blood, huh? I'm going to go find me a piece of algae and ask that algae if it got monkey blood because it's RH positive. I wish I was a lion whisperer, huh? Whose lion's blood have sickle in it. Some of you could communicate with your dogs. They had something on the news about a girl crying next to the horse, and the horse, she should ask the horse, because the horse has antigens RH in it, and ask the horse, did it come from a monkey? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it came from a unicorn. Who knows? Greater light. I may come over later. I might find a place to sit and relax. Greater light. My mind is God's mind. I'm always reflecting divine wisdom and intelligence. I'm trained to God. Thank you.